Good morning, everybody. This is Judith A. Culp. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, check it out. I finally finished season 4 of The Bear, and I do believe it's the series finale. And it's just what I expressed yesterday. I watched 2 or 3 episodes yesterday. I finished the season this morning. I enjoy the show greatly, but to watch someone have this much despair while being so transformative in the lives of the people around him was really, really difficult to watch. And finally, Carmy starts to talk and open up and share. And, it was just like, finally, which makes me think the show was only supposed to be like 2 seasons. But it was good. And I love the way they showed this world. There was a lot of reverence to fine dining, to cooking, because when you think about it, um, feeding another human being is an incredibly intimate, loving act, and it's a calling, just like anything else major. To be able to cook and prepare food, to elevate it, to see things in it that other people can't see, and have them give you money so you can eat it is incredible. And apparently, Carmi was this amazing chef, and Sydney had a dream, and Marcus had a dream, and T had a dream, and Richie had a like he transformed all of these characters' lives, and none of them really could be happy about it because Carmi's never happy. But there were a lot of small victories in that show, and the way they became a team. And if you watch the first season to where it ends up, and to see what they transformed in that restaurant in like 10 episodes a season. We're not talking about like the old days when you had 22 episodes to tell a story arc for a season. We're talking 10 episodes, maybe 12. I do believe it was 10. And, to get 40 hours of television, it's pretty incredible to tell this story arc. And they did a good job, but I think the story's over. I don't know how Carm's going to make money, but he didn't seem concerned about it, so why should I be? And, Sydney, they didn't do what they did on Schitt's Creek, which is in season 6, you can tell the writers fell in love with Alexis Rose. It's not as obvious. The writers' room loves Sydney. They love Sid, and she's a rock star. And again, Ayo Edebiri, I hope I'm saying her name correctly, is a rock star. But this is Chicago. People don't fall in love. Writers' rooms don't fall in love with you. So they did a good job, and it's believable the way they ended. But I do believe it's the season, or the series end, not just the season end. And kudos to them. It's probably the best casted show I've ever seen. Each character is, each actor is that person to me. And so they did a lot of closure. You can see there's a lot of closure. There's a lot of things that seem to come to a fine point. And there are other things that are just kind of left open to your interpretation, and that's fine. I think they did a great job. It was a masterful show. When it was good, it was great. The scene this season that stood out to me is when they all got under that table in the Bears, and it was pretty cool. Um, I have a feeling they didn't use the actual table, but it was cool. Good job. Great job. Excellent job, Christopher Storer, and to his team, and to the writer's room, and to those wonderful, wonderful actors. Um, but yeah, great job. So anyway, I have I would have come on earlier, but I was talking to one of my friends. I'm still used to not having to, run into an office or check my work email or whatever. So I'm just having very interesting mornings because I'm doing the opposite of what I normally do. What I normally do would be kind of running around, kind of panicked, kind of how's this gonna go, kind of thing. But instead, I've opted to just get out of God's way. God has been the architect of all of this. I'm just trying to follow instructions better than I ever have, and I'm just sort of letting the plan unfold, um, and having as little anxiety and resistance to that as possible. So I just ease into my day. I get a phone call. One of my friends, now this is incredible to me. This is someone who called her from the front of her home at midnight saying, I'm sitting in front of your house. I need to go to the hospital and you got to take me. Now, it's a whole lot of story left, but this person, I thought all these years I've heard about this person, I thought she was like 20 years old. This woman is 40 with grown kids. And I was like, what? And I said, you're not really in a friendship. This is codependency. This is exactly what codependency looks like. Because you would never call her in a crisis, but she feels comfortable coming to your house instead of going to the hospital or dialing 911. So I reframed it for her. I said, if this was a guy, you'd have dialed 911 and sent him on his way. And you'd know for sure, like, this relationship isn't fulfilling. It feels a little one sided. I'm not trying to blow anything up. She cares for this person, but this person is not trying to be your friend. No one who loves you shows up to your house at midnight. That's not your child or your partner or spouse, or, you know what I mean? Like, nobody who cares about you would interrupt your night knowing you have to go to work. That's crazy. So, it reminded me, at first I said, this is single white female. She done got your haircut. But more than that, and I remember I saw single white female in the theater with my sister. And I remember she turned to me and she was like, this is some sick shit. That was funny. Um, that was like 1990 or so, 91 maybe. I think 92. I think Single White Female came out in 92. Bridget Fonda uh, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. That movie was hilarious. I'm surprised that hasn't been remade. I'm not asking it to be remade, but for one, that's one that I thought people would remake because it was actually kind of terrifying, but also kind of hilarious. Anyway, that was the image I first got. When she finished talking, you know what? I remember the episode because I'm old. I'm older. I'm not old. I'm fantastic. I'm the perfect age. But there was an episode of One Day at a Time where Barbara had a crazy friend. Like, the friend was way into Barbara and Barbara wasn't that into her. And I think at the end the girl like commits suicide. And Barbara felt guilty. I know, spoiler alert on a 50-year-old show. But Barbara felt guilty because she had been like, Melanie, we're not that close. Like, you got you in one friendship and I'm in another. I don't really want to be friends with you. And then the girl like goes home and takes a whole bunch of pills and calls Barbara. What a mind fuck, right? No wonder we grew up all gnarly in the 70s and 80s. But anyway, uh that's what I was thinking, like one-sided relationships. I've had to put up boundaries with people, especially as the caregiving took off. I'm like, dude, I can't call you when I have a problem, but you feel free calling me crying in tears. You can't even speak words. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. And I've gone as far as I can go with this. And it wasn't to hurt that person's feelings or anything like that. I'm not saying they're bad and I'm good. It's just, this is not what I can do for you. I can't be this person to you. I don't know who you've made it up in your mind that I am, but I can't be that for you. And I think it's okay to say that sometimes. I think it's okay to say, hey, I got to look out for me. I need to protect me. I've got things going on in my life too. Boundaries matter and they really need to be enforced. And there are some people in this world you're just going to have to either eliminate out of your life or put them in a little square and they can only be in that space. Otherwise, they can't be in your life. And you have to really be brave and really be bold and enforce that, not for them, for you, because your sanity, your safety, your uh, vibrancy depends on being able to regenerate and have something for you to share with the world. If somebody's constantly taking from you, then you won't have anything. And it's all these people out here that are energy vampires. They just are looking for their next codependent victim. And there are a lot of people who aren't comfortable unless their relationships are steeped in codependency. And I don't think people know that about themselves. I don't think they can see it, but I think it would be very, very helpful for the world if people understood that codependency is not a relationship. You being dependent on me for your joy, you being dependent on me for your self esteem, that's not a relationship. That's codependency. And you need to fix that for you, not me. You know what I mean? Your joy doesn't come from me. Your beauty doesn't come from me. You should never be looking for anything outside of yourself to make your soul sing. It has to come from inside. Otherwise, it's not real. People are just mirrors for you anyway. They're just a mirror. They're just you in another form and reflecting you back to yourself. And the people you fall in love with are the people who have the traits you love the most about yourself. And the people you can't stand and want to get away from have the traits that you don't like at all about yourself. Like, I don't like liars. And I don't go around telling a whole bunch of lies. Not since I was a child, when you first learn that lying is bad. But I hate liars. I hate lazy people. Hate is strong, but I really disdain. I have a strong disdain for that type of behavior because I'm not like that. And the person I aspire to be is not like that. So there are people out here who are just reflecting you back to you. That's really what people are. You know, infinite intelligence has created this illusion that we're all separated, but we're all the same. We're all drawing from the same pool of knowledge. And for me, that's God. And with God comes responsibilities, but also with God comes possibilities. And the possibilities are endless. That's why there's so many different types of people, but they're all you. The way you see them is all you. And, some people got to get the boot. They just got to go. And they could be your family, they could be your spouse, they could be somebody you really couldn't see yourself living without at one point. But everybody has an expiration date and everybody is expendable, because I will not keep anybody on this journey that don't want to be on a journey with me. I'm not going to save you at the expense of myself. Never, ever, ever again. That's good advice. Have an amazing Thursday. It's the end of July. What you waiting for? Time to get cracking.